crying emojis in the chat. Oh my lord, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy Doody. Oh my lord, your boy Doody did not sleep last night. Your boy Doody was up all night just rewatching the beautiful, the wonderful, the amazing, the robust TruthSeekers Interview. I watched it twice. That's how good it was, because Doody wanted to prepare for his podcast today, which is at 10 o'clock, folks. That's right. Doody's gonna hang out with Spoon Gang, with Mod Gang, and we're gonna take a look at some of the best parts of the interview. That's right. I'm calling this SideScrollers 2 Electric Beggallooo. And no offense to my boy Craig, but he may have to drop down a peg in the hierarchy of the snort text. But we'll get into it. So apparently yesterday after the interview, our boy Phil decided to go and do a daily rap and have a cope session. That's right. So let's hear Phil cope about the interview. Let's get into it.
Confusing. Did we hit the goal tonight? No, we didn't. We got about halfway. All right. Call of Duty is always hit or miss. Some nights we go great. Sometimes we don't. This time we didn't hit it. It's not the end of the world. Late stream tonight didn't happen because I appeared on a show over on the TruthSeekers Show channel on YouTube. Now, just to forewarn everyone, if you do decide to go partake in that show, it's going to basically be 20 minutes of calm conversation and about 2.5+ hours of Steve, the host of the show, basically bringing up the same exact drama stuff that you've heard about me for the last 2.5 years. I guess he had some kind of big, lofty ambitions that he was going to try to set me up with some special lie detector event, all of this stuff going on, and it was just fucking bull. I'm going to be honest with you. All the stuff that came up, all the same shit that we've seen a zillion times, okay, from my detractors. Literally not a new piece of anything presented. It's all the same nothing burger shit from 5+ years ago in regards to bank leaks and the bankruptcy and shit like that, right? So because of that, it's like, well, it was disappointing. I was hoping that we were going to have more of a back and forth conversation. I'm going to be honest. I don't think that Steve is a bad guy, but man, he's a bad host. He was yelling over me so much that I barely could even give an answer to anything that he was saying, which is kind of unfortunate. Okay, so it is what it is. I spent a lot of time on the show, but I'm done with it now. You know, he wanted me to be involved in all. Well, will you do this and do that? I was like, no. Like, Steve, I tried to tell him, he's like, you tried to come on my show here because you were interested in clearing your name. I said, Steve, I have zero interest in talking about any of the drama stuff we're talking about right now at all. It doesn't affect me. My viewers like me and my content. We've already been through all of this. The stuff you're talking about is from many years ago and doesn't even apply to who I am or what I do today. Just take a look at everything around. Well, I guess I could turn this off now. Just take a look at everything around you and how it's changed. But it is what it is again. You know, you want to watch it, you can. If you're a fan of mine, you're probably going to hate it. You're going to be like, didn't you already do all this when you reacted to your June the King documentary? Yes, I did. It's literally the same stuff rehashed again for the zillionth time. So, all that being said, I do feel like, sadly for me, it was kind of a waste of time. I don't think I'm going to get anything out of it. I don't think any of his fans are going to be coming over to watch my content. He made out essentially with a payday for my detractors. What a shocking twist, right? But as you know, it's the same rodeo over and over. It's not a big deal. Do I look angry right now? No, I don't. It's just the same crap. All right. So anyway, it is what it is. It's over. The hilarious part is that the entire time he wants me to come back on the show. I was like, dude, like, you just wasted 2.5 hours of my time. Like, why would I want to come back on the show? Like, it's so stupid. So anyway, you know, tomorrow we're back for the end of the week, and I'll talk more about this at length. I'm sure you guys will have tons of questions and stuff to ask me during the Level 1 podcast tomorrow. More than happy to talk about it. All right, we should have a good time on the show, and tomorrow will be a full gameplay stream. The first stream is...
Yeah, no one gives a shit about your first stream. I'm here to talk about this interview. And by the way, shout out to Steven. He was a really good dude. I actually had some conversations with him. Of course, your boy Doody did give him some information. I did share Go and a whole bunch of other stuff, resources that he could use, aka bank leaks and all that. And I'm not saying I'm the only one. Tons of detractors probably reached out and spoke with him and, you know, gave him the same information or more. Yeah, Phil, you came on that podcast. You agreed because you thought, just like you said, you were going to cloud chase and try to get more pay pigs or potential pay pigs from a new audience that may have not heard of you. Sadly, Phil, everyone on the internet knows who you are, and most of it is from a very negative connotation, bro. His chat, he probably had about 400 to 500 people just on his normal stream, and they all knew who you were, Phil. They all knew who you were, and they're not even in the vortex. And then you had about another 1,200 detractors watching it. Then you had Raw Phil, who was clocking out like 1,500 people watching his stream. Bro, a lot of people watch this. A lot of people. And Phil, I'm sorry, you came off horribly. If you really think this is, oh, it's the same. No, Phil. No. The problem you can't understand, and I'm glad that Steven touched on it. He touched on the autism and you not being aware and so on, because you're not aware. This guy apparently has accounting background, and so does his wife. He does some forensics, if I believe that's what it is. So he can analyze bank leaks. He has resources. He knows how the banking system works. He knows what happens when someone tries to commit fraud. And he called you out on your multiple lies. And you contradicted your multiple lies again on his very podcast. And this is what he did. Remember, folks, guys, anybody watching my content, you know what I said during when Steve was asking people, to reach out or whatever on Twitter. I posted and said, dude, only piece of advice I got for you is that, if you have a question for Phil, don't give him all the information, because you're going to hear something like this. Oh, what are my detractors saying now? Go ahead, give me all your information. And the reason why he's doing that is because he wants to hear what information you have, so that he can, massage his lie to meet your argument. So if you have something new that you found out that's refreshing, of course he'll go, oh yeah, well, and he'll have some lame lie. For example, when PPP interviewed Phil, or I talked to Phil, and they were talking about the WWE champions are down from the rafters, right? After Phil lied multiple times and finally claimed clean, but then said that he sold the account. PPP and many others reached out to the different websites that sell these accounts, and they checked and they confirmed that no one by the name of Down from the Rafters, that account was ever sold, right? And then what did Phil do when he had that piece of information? He goes, oh, well, I did a private sale. So you see what Phil does? He waits for you to give him information so that he can modify his lies. So I did speak with Steven as part of our conversations, and I said, don't give him all your information. Let him talk. Give him an open-ended question, see what he says, and then if it contradicts what you have, hit him with it. And the other thing that he loves to fucking do, is he loves to obfuscate. He tries to run out the clock. And that's the reason why he was on top of you, like a lion on top of a gazelle. He was on top of you and he didn't let you breathe. You know why? Because he didn't want to give you the opportunity to sit there and rethink your lie and lie to him, because he just wasn't having it. He wasn't having it. And then the other thing too is that he came from a place where he did enough research beforehand where he was able to come to a pretty conclusive opinion of you that you're lying. That you're not lying about everything. And that's true. I don't think Phil's lying about everything. But 90% of the big stuff, Phil is lying about. The bank leaks, all that stuff, he's lying. And I loved when he brought out the picture of Kat on the whatchamacallit, because he wanted to say, look, brother, we have photos of your wife going to this salon. And then he was so, dude, the look on his face was like a look of horror, because he got caught in a lie. And then he tried to say, that's not my wife. That's not my wife. And he was like, dude, that's your fucking wife, bro. It looks just like her, the same hair. And the other thing, too, is that he had a picture of Kat with that purple hair, by the way. Don't tell Phil, but he knew exactly that was her. He confirmed it. Like, he took those extra steps to confirm that was her. He didn't just take a random picture from a detractor. No, Phil. He went to the website. Well, he was told about it. He went to the website, got the picture. And then, of course, Phil forgets he has an Instagram where he used to post photos. Plus, there's a social media out there for Kat that you can find. If you look hard enough, you can find it. It is out there. But of course, Phil thinks he's the smartest man in the room. He thinks he can maneuver anyone. And if he gets get in a corner, he thinks he can get. And last night, no. And shout out to Bro Side Phil. Broside Phil came on. Broside Phil is a retired police officer, so he's very familiar with police protocol, the FOI requests. He's familiar with the process. He knows what people do when they investigate. He knows about bank leak investigate. Like, he is aware of all of that. And he came on and gave the 1-2 punch to Phil, and Phil was so lost and confused. And by the way, Broside Phil wasn't the only person he had. There was a couple people waiting that were going to come on and debunk Phil. But of course, Phil had to run like a little punk bitch. The interview went for about 2 hours and 45 minutes. He kept stringing him along. He kept keeping him there because, of course, Phil wanted the last word. And every time Phil thought he had the last word, Steve came out with something else and hit him again and hit him again and hit him again. So, of course, he couldn't leave because he didn't have the last word. So that was a very good trick. That was a very good move that Steven did. He knew that if you continue bombarding him with stuff, he's so self-absorbed. He's such a narcissist that he can't leave it like that. He has to have the last word. So if you hit him with something and he responds and then he goes, all right, well, I gotta go. You hit him with something else right after that, there's no way he has to go. He can't leave it. He can't leave it with just that final statement, because in his eyes, he feels like, oh, well, if I don't debunk that or say anything, then people are going to think that's true. And Phil, I'm sorry to tell you, brother, but no one believes you, man. No one believes you. No one. So here's some advice, and I hope you don't follow this advice. Keep doing all the interviews you want. Doody loves these interviews because Doody's going to have a podcast in about 40 minutes, and he's just going to love and have a great time. But if I'm your friend, right, Phil, and I think we've known each other enough I can call you a friend, right, Phil? Don't do any more of these interviews. These do not help you. You're not going to get any more people. You got lucky with PPP and Keno Casino because, of course, the meme, and as you can see, that's falling off. I mean, Rare Tricks was in the Truth Seekers whatchamacallit, dropping donos and calling you out. He was calling you out. Even your own viewers, even the Keno people that have been supporting you, don't believe you, bro. They don't believe you. So you know what? You might as well quit while you're behind, right? Put a period and stop trying to do drama content because you're not good at it. You're not smart. You're not clever, and you're not interesting. And the thing is, Phil, is that you spent 16 years lying. There are thousands of lies and contradictions of those lies. And you sadly don't have enough brain power to keep all those lies straight. So, of course, you're going to get snagged over and over. And it was so great last night. He got to the point where he just threw up his hands. And when he got cornered and he knew he got cornered, he went with I don't care. It doesn't matter. My viewers like me for who I am. And dude, it was so great. If you haven't watched it, definitely go watch the podcast. You can watch it on Raw Phil. But do Steven a solid. Go give him the view. Go give him the view because he gets ad revenue or whatever. So I'm going to link the video. Go watch it. It's a little lengthy one, but it's so worth it. And of course, after he read all the super chats, and he pretty much reinstated that he believes Phil's a scumbag. He is. And the poly thing. Doody, a couple people in his chat basically were willing to throw $5,000 because, of course, Phil said he needed some incentive to do the polygraph. Money. So I came out and said, if he does the poly and pass, I'll give him $5K. I'll give him $5K. And I even stepped it up and said, I will delete my channel and reimburse him every single dollar I ever made off of Phil in the last 2.5 years. All that sweet, sweet ad revenue, I will give that shit to Phil if he passes the polygraph. And it was like 15K thrown out that said, if you do the poly and you pass, and it doesn't have to be passing colors. It just has to show that he's being truthful with most of the main things. That he would get that 15K and my channel would get eaten and I would stop detracting because my credibility would be completely shot, along with a bunch of other detractors, right? And I told him I'd publicly apologize and said I was wrong. The information I had was wrong and I'm sorry. And I wouldn't bother him ever again. But of course, Phil, hey, the little dirty secret here is Phil knows he's lying himself. So anyway. Alrighty, folks. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace out. Don't forget to come out at 10 o'clock. We're going to roast Pig Boy. Bye-bye.